With only 16 riders and nowhere to hide, and a number of these riders being past accomplished Cat 1s and 2s, and I think there was a national champion or two in the past in here, this was going to be a tough race for me. And now someone's attacking from the gun and I'm closest to him. So I start to go after him and then I'm thinking, I'm not going to be able to do this. So now I'm thinking of a way where I can just pull off. So we pass the roundabout and I pull to the right and I'm hoping that someone else goes by. Now the guy that attacked is from Evoke Racing, a strong Masters team. Eventually someone does take over, and fortunately that is that Evoke Racing's teammate. So that means he's going to dial back, and that's going to give me a little bit of a chance to rest, from my 10 seconds of all-out effort. This is a 1.9 mile course, and I'm estimating that we're going to do about 8 laps. We're heading into a couple of undulations, and then that's going to lead us to the back end, or I should say the far right side of the course as you're looking at it. Where climbing is going to start with a very low grade, 0.5%, 1%, and then slowly work its way up to a crescendo. The rider at the front is Rick Lawton from R4R, and he's been pulling like a demon, and he's slowly making his way up to that rider up there. Now the one in front of me, that from Evoke Racing, is starting to weaken, so I got to go around him, and so now I'm on Rick's wheel. Now there's more, I'll call this maybe kind of like a counterattack, I'm not sure about that, but it's certainly a big surge as we're coming up on that rider up there, and that rider is trying to get to the top before we do, or at least with us, so that he'll be in the pack once we go across. That rider on the right is a good friend of mine from one of the local race teams, Velo Kings, who's actually putting on this race, Gus Gomez. I remember back in the day when he got his Cat 2 upgrade after he won pretty much everything in the Cat 3 category of the Tour de Gila, and I think he made it all the way up to Cat 1. He is one of those riders that if he started racing when he was a junior, he would have at least made it to Continental Pro. Alright, that's wild effort up that climb, and I made it over the top. So now we are in what I'll call a shallow W. We're going to have a series of small risers before we hit that final log flume ride back to the start finish. What I need to do is get myself into better position. As I'm thinking that, Rick Lawton again attacks. Now he's riding solo, no teammates. Even though it's one of those super strong riders I mentioned earlier, you can't solo by yourself on this course for an entire race, and no one's going to let him try, so they're all jumping after him. And I notice as they're all jumping, I'm jumping too, but these guys just have a better jump, so I just got to keep on it and then get back onto where I want to be, or at least where I want to try and be. Probably what Rick was trying to do was trying to entice a couple others to go out with him. So if he can get somebody from Evoke Racing and somebody from Velo Kings, then the race would be shut down, and then those three can fight it out for themselves. In terms of my situation, I am toward the front and I want to stay there, so whatever's happening, and Rick is going off again. God bless him. That was young cycling Greek style in the old days. Now here we have an opportunity to discuss some tactics. Now we have a small break starting to be formed. It has both Evoke, Velo Kings, and of course Rick Lawton. We are entering the log flume descent, and we have again two categories, the 55s and the 60s. If you were the Velo Kings rider in front of me, what would you do? Would you do what he's doing now and hammering to make the connection again? Or would you back off and see if the break establishes? Comment below, let me know what you think. My choice is to back off, and at the very worst case, someone else can just pull me up back to them. This downhill section is what I call a cross between a log flume ride and a roller coaster. It is fast and it winds quickly. Now I felt very safe with these guys. In the 3's 4's race I did later on, I didn't feel that safe. I was backing off a bit. There were a lot more riders and I just wasn't confident in the lines that some of them were taking. Or maybe more correctly, I wasn't confident in the lines I thought they may be taking. As we are descending at understandably a high rate of speed, somebody elects to attack. While this type of attack has little chance for success, everybody was on it to make sure that it didn't succeed. As we cross to start a new lap, an Evoque racer counters. We are going to be coming into that back end climb hot. I'm going to have to get myself in much better position, get myself toward the front so I have much better buffer. And that buffer is a premium, especially since there's only 16 of us. That Evoque attacker is going over the top of the insulation as we are approaching it. We're slowing up a bit, and if we stay like this, I'm going to be happy. In the front, we have two Evoques monitoring things, as well as Rick Lawton and Thirsty Bear's Jeremy Nadell. Gus Gomez is up there too. He has a teammate that attacks in an effort to do a solo bridge up to that Evoque racer. If the Velo Kings rider is able to make his way up to that Evoque rider, that'll leave 6 blockers in a pack of 14. Thirsty Bear, the only other team that has at least 2 riders, and you only have 2 riders, sees this, attacks, and bridges up to that Velo Kings rider. Then everybody starts to go. My hope for moderate pacing is now out the window, so now I'm just looking to stay on wheels. This was my second race of the day on this very tough course. And the first race that I did was pretty much statistically opposite of what this one is. It was the oldest categorization of the day. There were only 16 riders, and a lot of the riders are all named riders. This race was the open 3's, 4's. That means all ages. And it was the biggest field of the day, which means that I have some buffer that I can hide behind. Now, these guys started off a lot more muted than the Masters did. In fact, there's no attacking. We're holding a good pace, but we're pretty much holding it steady. And my body appreciates that. My only concern at this point is what is going to happen on the climb. Well, let's find out. Well, I can blame it on my tire.
Rotten luck.
Tire.
What?
Yeah.